Hello, YouTube. I'm just making a video, a starter tier list video. So I'm just gonna quickly ramble a bit about what I mean by starter tier list, what my criteria is. For me, a starter tier list is like the first 3 days of the league. If you're someone who's like, there's two considerations. There's people who's like in the first 3 days of the league, they're pushing for deep space. And those sort of people are gonna have very specific builds that they're running that get to deep space with very specific setups, playing at very specific tempos, having specific items they're trying to catch and stuff. This tier list is going to be slightly pulled back from that. I do think that is a very interesting topic to deep dive, but I also think it's a topic that requires a lot of effort, a lot of work from you as a player to get to that level, as well as the practice to like try out various setups and figure out exactly what power spikes you need to get to certain points. That being said, though, this is going to be a tier list for just if you're someone who's just playing this game casually and you want to know what character can I play, that by the end of day 3, like I'm gonna get to time arc 8 with relative ease and not get stuck on time arc 7, or maybe you're someone who always gets to time arc 8 easily, but then you get stuck on time arc 8. What's gonna push me from time arc 8 to profound with relative ease in without getting stuck, etc. So with that being said, we do have a I don't know tier, and I made a joke saying minions because I don't play minion builds. I'm gonna try and specifically talk about characters that I feel very confident in. Characters that either I've played before, I've done research on, I have friends that played a lot, characters that I know a lot about, because I don't really want to misdirect people. So there's gonna be a lot of characters that I just don't put in the I don't know tier, because I just happen to not have people in my circle that are like, that are one tricks of those characters. I have a lot of friends who play this game that one trick specific characters that I can say with a lot of confidence, based off not only their performance, but just the numbers and things, how good the character is. But the amount of work and effort that would go into like playing every single character, trying out every single setup, is just unfathomable. And I'm an Erica 2 one chick. Let's be real. I play other stuff, but I'm an Erica 2 one chick. With that being said, we're gonna go into 3 of the characters. We're gonna start off with Bing 1. I think Bing 1 is still gonna be a very powerful starter. I think the Bing 1 Hammer of Ash build that people have been playing is very, very powerful build. And, as far as I can tell, that build is still just very viable and very, very good. It's just really fucking strong. It's a very powerful starter. It can do like busts really good. It can do any sort of content where you're just standing still and just killing everything. It can do really fucking good. And we have Bing 2. So Bing 2 is actually a rather weak early game character. It has a few problems. The first problem is it is a spellburst archetype by nature. The thing about spell bursting in this game is that spell bursting is wait, I'm just thinking now. If I put Bing 1 in OP, I think half of the characters are gonna be an OP tier. I think that's fine though. I think it's fine if most characters are an OP tier. It's just called extremely strong. Okay. Bing 2 has a few issues. The first main issue that you can run into is, I think getting to like Tarmac 8 on Bing 2 is very easy, but it's very expensive to push it further beyond that. Because even though it has good damage scaling and has good like Euro types and stuff, its archetype of like being a spellcaster spellburst build is just naturally very expensive. So spellburst is one of the most played archetypes, I think, especially in China. Chinese people just love it. It's very automated. It feels very fun to play. It's very fast paced and things. But because of that, you have a lot of competition, and your gear's just in general going to be very expensive. That being said, though, I think that even as an SSF character, you can get to like Time Arc 8 very easily on Bing 2, and especially, the new chromatic shot, I think it's going to be very strong that you could play with Bing 2. He's a very strong contender for like playing the new chromatic shot. I definitely think that you'll be able to like make something work and to have a decently good time with him. Karina 1. So this is going to be the first character where I just genuinely don't really know. I do have a few friends and stuff that play Carino, so I have like a rough idea about Carino. But It's a bit of a weird one. Um, Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that for Karina 2 specifically, both the people have been playing on Karina 2 that seems to be very powerful is Karina 2 Lightning Sword that people are considering to start. And just from what I've heard, what people have told me, from what I know, this is going to be a very, very strong starter, playing the Lightning Shot variant. I unfortunately am not equipped with all the information or knowledge about it to know exactly how good it is. And then in a similar sense, last season people were league starting Blazing Bullet Carino 3. It was extremely, extremely powerful. It did get nerfed in the patch notes, but the main nerf to it was not actually its damage. It was mostly just nerfs to its AoE and its size. You know, a lot of it was like the explosion radius was reduced, the projectile size was reduced, and things. And you know, if it's good enough for a starter for someone like Lao P to league started, I think it's pretty safe to say that it is an extremely strong character, even if it is like a nerfed variant now. I think you're still gonna just have a good time. If you played either of these two in the past, I think you're gonna have a good time, and it's just gonna be a fun time. I do think Karina 1 is probably gonna be very strong with the new chromatic shot. I just don't know enough about it. But I do have friends that are starting Karina 2 and Karina 3 who are just complete and utter pumpers and blasters. Who, if they are starting it, I do think that it's going to be a very strong option. Erica 1 is just very fucking powerful. I mean, Legolas is a friend of mine. He starts at every single league. He blasts through at every single league. It's just an easy, extremely strong tier. Out of all the cat archetypes, I think Erica 1's like the easiest to play. It's very straightforward. It's very basic. And it's very strong. Erica 2. So this is my specialty. I used to think that Erica 2 is a very weak starter, and to an extent I still think she is a very weak starter. However, compared to some of the other characters in the roster, compared to some of the other options that you have, there's definitely way weaker than her. And I think actually the new Tangle system has really uplifted her as a character. Being able to transition to spellcasters very early into like the league, being able to like get consistent ways to generate num earlier into the league now, especially with like the new revival of Your Memories, which helps a lot with her num application. All of those things have just been massive boons to Erica 2, and especially with the buffs to Tangles this season, which didn't need a buff, but they got one. I'm definitely very confident in saying that she's going to be a very strong starter. I'm not extremely confident to put her yet in the extremely strong, in the sense of, if you're going to play Erica 2 and you're going to follow my guide and things, I do think that you're going to be paying quite a lot. You know what? I'm very confident in myself. I actually think Erica 2, with new Tangles and stuff, just looks extremely strong. I think if you play Tangles Erica 2 on a very low budget, you're able to push to Profound. I've done a lot of testing with it. The amount of gear you need to get into Profound is not too expensive. The only like expensive thing early on is it's a massive boon to your damage, especially as like a Tango or Spellburst build early on to get a Priceless weapon. And early into the league, like day 1, day 2, a Priceless weapon is going to be like 1,500 FE just for the baseline. But with that being said, I am feeling very confident with my Erica 2 this season. I feel like it's going to be a much way better starter, way stronger starter than in the past. I think the buff to Tangles helps her a lot. I'm definitely putting her in an extremely strong tier. You're just going to get kind of stuck in Profound, transitioning from, like, you know, doing Profound to doing Spellburst, or if you transition in Time 8 already, you know, you're going to get stuck there for a bit. But I definitely think... I think... I definitely think that, like, there is a lot of potential. Erica 3 got nerfed this season. If you've played Erica 3 last season, you already know that her start is kind of miserable. The problem with a flicker character is you're gonna be just fucking playing the game. You're gonna flicker into a fucking Emperor if you're doing Arcana. You're gonna flicker into like some random area on the ground and you're just gonna get a one-shot and you're just gonna be miserable. I do think the character is actually very strong. I think I've seen some builds that people were doing on Billy and on China that seemed very powerful. I think like doing her as like a life stacking variant with ES added as extra life with Cicada Shell is going to be very powerful. I think she's going to be just fine in the end game. I just think in terms of like, you know, melee attacker options, there are other options that are just going to be better. But I think she gets a bad rap for just how frustrating she is to play. Because more than scaling or anything like that, her playing her is so fucking frustrating. She's so annoying to play. It's so frustrating when you just flick into something, you just die. I think all three Gemmas are very powerful. Gemma 1 looks extremely powerful, and she's going to be most likely extremely strong with Chromatic Shot. No, Gemma 1 Chromatic Shot's going to be very powerful. Even without Chromatic Shot, though, triple converting has always just been extremely powerful. She's kind of a favorite in China as like just a safe, solid starter. She's just always easy to get up and running. I think Tango's Gemma 2 is going to be very powerful. I think it's going to be one of the strongest options again. Remind me, did Tango's Gemma 2 get nerfed? Because there was a lot of buffs to Gemma 2. No convert for chromatic. So from what people have been saying, from what people that have been leaking from the beta and stuff, because obviously I don't have access to the beta, it seems like Chromatic Shot, and I mean specifically right here, commits all damage to corresponding damage type and ignores conversion, conventional damage conversion affix. Additional damage is applied before damage conversion and does not conflict with this effect. You're still getting the additional damage from converting. Before the forceful conversion, you're still getting all of these damage amps. The only thing that's weird about it is the fact that this is like a non-damage type. This is just deal spell damage. It doesn't say fire, lightning, or cold, or anything like that baseline, which makes it a bit weird because it's like, what are you converting from? And that's the thing that is a bit strange about it. They nerfed Frostbite earlier, but and off the duration of freeze. Yeah, Gemma 2 is still gonna be fucking OP, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. Gemma 2 is still gonna be fucking OP. If you want to play Tangles, I still think she's the best Tangle user. They lost crit, but they also gained the crit back. Like, they lost crit on the tree. She lost her movement. Yeah, but like that's not what we talk about when we talk about strength, right? I'm just talking about like if you're like a new player and you want to play the game and you want to like get into Profound easily as a first season and stuff, I think Gemma 2 is still gonna be a very solid option. This is not like a blaster tier list, like the absolute peak blaster efficiency. This is just like characters, like how easy it's gonna be to get to like Profound. Like it's like a very casual tier list. Gemma 3 is also just a very powerful option. Any flame skill, Gemma 3 is very, very powerful. She, in a lot of ways, kind of just feels like a stronger Bing too, because generally Bing does rely on going fire skills, but Bing is like harder to get set up, whereas with Gemma 3, you can just play Flame Core early on. Iris 1, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't play minions. I don't know. Iris 2 is fucking disgustingly broken, by the way. Iris 2 got so many buffs this season, because when they were trying to bring out like the new Sage hero, a lot of what they did was buffing life regeneration, because the way the new Sage hero works is life regeneration is going to get converted into excess life. Now, the biggest issue that Iris 2 has had is that they kept nerfing her sources of like life regeneration. So the fact that they're buffing all of his life regenerations is just a massive buff to Iris 2, and it's going to make her early game feel significantly better. And Iris 2 has always had like a pretty smooth sailing to end game. It's just like that initial strat at the start that's a bit iffy. Now that being said though, I will give you a warning. Iris 2 is extremely pet dependent, and it's not really friendly for like free-to-play or new players, because you do want pets on her. Moto 1, I don't know, but I will say one thing. Moto 1 is pretty often like league started in China. The Chinese people really are a fan of Moto 1. They rate him very highly. And even though I personally don't really know too much about Moto 1 myself, I do think if you do look up a bit about like the Chinese Moto 1s, you go on Bilibili and you look at what people are doing to league start him, there's a reason he's as popular as he is. And he is probably a very strong character. I personally am just not 100% sure. You know, I don't want to put him in extremely strong and then have people ask me why he's in extremely strong, and then I can't tell you like what build to play on him or anything like that. So I'm going to put him down here. And again, Karina 2, Lightning Shot, Karina 3, probably Blazing Bullet. You can probably also play Chromatic Shot for both of them, but I don't fucking know. I just know about Blazing Bullet and Lightning Shot being OP on these two. Erika 1, Thunder Spike, and Lightning Shot is really broken. Erika 2, you can Tangles. Gemma 1, you can Chromatic Shot. Gemma 3, you can Flame Core. Bing, you can Hammer of Ash. Iris 2, you just play Magus. Gemma 2, you can play any Frost skill. Bing 2, you can Flame Burst, you can split Firebolt. Erika 3, you can Crescent Slash. Moto 2, don't know. Rayhan 1, don't know. Rayhan 2. So Rayhan 2 is a really interesting one. Not to narc on my friends or anything. Okay, not to be the person who, you know, reveals the secrets and stuff. But life stacking's fucking broken in this game. Life stacking is completely and utterly broken. Do not type sus in chat, okay? I'm sorry. Life stacking is really fucking overtuned. So I'm just gonna casually drag him here and just mention casually the fact that, you know, every season Steve plays Rayhan 2 and kills Trav 7 in like 3 hours. I'm just gonna mention that he does it in 3 hours, you know. It just gonna, you know. Don't look at that though. Rosa 1. Rosa 1 is a weird one. Rosa 1 is really tanky. Like, really, really tanky, but she doesn't have a lot of damage scaling in her kit. She has the same issue that the New Year's Sage has. In the sense of, like, it's very easy to become very tanky on Rosa 1, but you're kind of just, you know, you don't have that much damage. You have a lot of tankiness, but you don't have a lot of damage multipliers built into your kit. And I think that just hurts her early game, because you're kind of just going to be stuck in like the lower time orcs, just kind of waiting to get more gear and just be weaker than other options on this tier list. But once you get your gear, you're like super strong and super powerful. And I think because of that, I am just going to be putting her in the week early. She's very tanky. She's very, very strong, but you need gear on her. And with that being said, I mentioned the New Year, so I'm just going to quickly skip over to her. I know some people are not going to be happy about seeing Sage in the week early tier. Listen, Sage is really powerful. I think she is going to be an extreme menace in the endgame. I think Sage is going to be one of the strongest characters in this game once you have gear. Because she's just going to become completely unkillable. Her endgame is absolutely absurd. Her endgame builds are going to be so fucking good. But how do you get there? The problem with Sage's early game is she has like no damage multipliers early into her kit. So you're going to be very tanky, but you're going to be a fucking, like, you're just going to be slow compared to everyone else. You're just not going to have damage early on. You're not going to be pushing, you know, time orcs as fast as other people. You're going to be immortal, but you're going to do no damage until you have gear. Once you have gear, though, she's going to be insane. You know, they're like selling the new chromatic shot. The new chromatic shot's completely overtuned, by the way. The numbers on it is absolutely insane. But even then, like, even ignoring that, you can also play like armor stacker. There's a new like armor potion, which you're just gonna get like fucking 500,000 armor completely for free on Sage. But yeah, before that becomes relevant, you actually need to get the armor stacking items, which costs money and doesn't exist early into the league. And not only that, they didn't nerf Unwavering Fortress, which is fucking insane to me. But the fact that they didn't nerf Unwavering Fortress makes me think it might just be more rare next season. Like, it might not drop as commonly anymore, which might make this even more expensive. Because I don't see why else I wouldn't have touched it when it was literally the most played build of the season. I mean, there was a few nerfs on Unwavering Fortress. I can probably go into it. Like, they removed the additional armor from full defense. They slightly nerfed the neck, stuff like that, but it's so relevant. Rosa 2 is absolutely busted. She's the best melee character in the game. She's essentially just Erica 1's bigger sister. So I'm gonna put her above Erica 1. You know, it's big sis, little sis, you know? Fucking extremely strong character. Barely got nerfed. The thing about Rosa 2 is, so you have two setups on her. You have the mana stacking setup and you have a Trinity setup. The mana stacking setup did get kind of hurt in a few various ways, but the whole like Trinity setup that you can do with her, where you go like Trinity, you go Ghost Slaughters, you do further stacking. Shut up! No more talking. Sorry. Selina's a weird one. So you did get buffs in the patch notes. An issue that Selina's been having is that basically the main issue that you have with Selina is that your main, like, damaging, like, you lick our strat and not his strat. I said it, Trinity Ghost Slaughters. And I just said lifestack. I didn't even mention the fact that you guys play a bow. I didn't even say what skill. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Selena. Well, a pistol? Yeah, I mean, potato. Selena. Selena's always had an issue basically for Euro kit, where it's like she doesn't have a lot of multipliers built into the kit. She was very strong early game, especially a few seasons ago when like a lot of the spells that you would like use on her were stronger. But an issue that she's been having is kind of just a power creep, where it's like all of her abilities just keep kind of getting nerfed, being made slightly worse every single patch. And then on top of that, she lost her like cold convert freeze resetting with further transmission. So she lost a lot of mobility now this season. It just doesn't look really amazing for Selena. She did receive some buffs this season with her tide effect, but I think if you want to play channeling skill, she's gonna be okay. I think she's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be like the most miserable experience ever, but you kind of are forced these days, if you want to do like SS20 and things, to go into like an erosion-based build, like a reap-based build. That's what pretty much everyone does. Stacking like affliction effect and things, which that might be kind of decent with Ill Omen now being a thing in the game. Like Ill Omen's a new debuff they added, which is very interesting. It is mostly just made to like have dot characters have better clear or like better feeling clear, where if you stack up enough dots, you just kind of one-shot enemies or do a massive amount of damage to them. That all of that being said, though, I think she's gonna feel a lot worse than she's felt in previous seasons. I don't want to put her in weak early, but I also don't want to put her in strong. It's kind of just this in between. Because she still has more damage than Rose on Sage. And realistically, the thing about this game is, we're getting to like profound, the only thing that really matters is damage. Yes, you need to survive it. If you play something like Erica 3, being ZHP is going to be a problem. You know, but for the most part, like you're going to be kind of fine if you're like a range character, you have freezing, you have kiting, if you have enough damage. So I think she's still going to be a strong-ish option. She's just not going to be amazing. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Okay, so Tier 1 and Tier 2 are both Blessing Stackers. They got reworked and changed this season. I'm gonna be honest with you. Tier 1's cracked right now? Yeah, that's true. I forgot she got reworked. What did they change again? God. I forgot about the rework. Yeah, wait. What skill did people put on Tier 1? What skill did they? She's like 2.6 multi of like 7 focus blessings? Yeah, I know. I forgot she got fucking reworked. I was like putting it in, I was like, wait, didn't they rework it this patch? I was like, wait a second. They fucking giga buffed her. Chrome shot, yeah. Which is gonna be so fucking good, no? Okay. I'll come back to that. Let's see Yoga 1 and Yoga 2 quickly. Yoga 1 has like the issue that he always has. He's basically forced into being a spellburst character, but he's just a worse version of Bing 2. Unless you find some sort of cheese build on him. But then again, he does have some really strong builds. I think like Chromatic Shard Yoga 1 is gonna be really fucking good. And he's a very smooth silent character, but a problem that Yoga 1 has, especially in the early game, is that you don't have a lot of damage built into your kit. Sorry, not into your kit. You don't have a lot of damage built into like your multipliers. You don't have a lot of early multipliers. So he has like a very fucking easy time, but then you kind of just get stuck because you're lacking damage multipliers. And then normally people either fix that by throwing some cheese build, because he's like, Euro trade has a lot of cheese potential to it, or by just throwing more money at it. Being defaults are crafting, especially with Traveler, yeah. Spell characters, like, if you're forced into spellbursting early just doesn't feel good. And you're kind of forced into spellburst of like Yoga 1 with Bing 2. I think it's gonna be the same story as always with Bing 2. I think Yoga 1 is gonna like get to Trav 8. Sorry, it's gonna get to like Time Rock 8 really easily. But I think you're just gonna feel kind of stuck for a while in Time Rock 8, like you always do. It's just unfortunate. Like, the Spellburst archetype feels so good to play, but it just kind of just kept getting nerfed over and over again because at the typically top end, Spellbursting is like really broken, but then every nerf they do just like nerfs the lower end. Because everyone wants to play Spellburst because it's like one of the most fun archetypes because you just off-screen things. But yeah, Yoga 1's still gonna be strong. I think Yoga 2 is gonna be very powerful in the new season. I don't know exactly how powerful it's gonna be, so a big rework that they did in this season was they changed how blur works. Not necessarily changed how blur works, so they made it that the void damage of void cap on blur is now instead of 80%, 60%. But there's two ways you used to scale blur. So the way you used to play with blur builds was with subtle impact, which had this effect. Blur gains an additional effect, 25% additional dot damage. And you used to play what is the other one called? Days. Blur gains additional effect, 4% crowd control effect, additional element damage. Both of these have been changed, that it's no longer blur gains an additional effect, and it's now just baseline while having blur, you get these things. So in the past, the way you used to play blur builds is you would get a source of blur. Specifically, you would get like the shoes, I forgot what they're called again, and then you would get both days and subtle impact in your build, and you would scale as much blur effect as possible. Valerie's, thank you. What they did now this season is they kind of beefed up blur a lot early on, where like a lot of the early game blur and shit is just way stronger. You get way much more blur. You get way more blur effect now. You get like all sorts of like powerful things as a dot build early on, but the downside now is your scaling like later on is a bit weaker because instead of just having like, you know, this 25% additional ammo damage, this 25% additional damage from subtle impact, just like get pumped up by all your blur effect, they're just like staying at 25%, but you're still scaling other things with blur effect. It's just like different now, kind of. But I think the changes they've made to like dot and rebuilds overall, it might feel a bit worse like at some point, like at the typically top end. I'm not 100% sure, I haven't done the numbers on it. But your early game should still feel very powerful as a dot build. You should still have a good time. And hopefully with this league, Torture's gloves are also going to be way cheaper. Because last league, like Torture's touch was like 20k FE or something. Because people were using it in making Vorax items. You can't Vorax this anymore. So it should be a cheaper item to get now, fortunately. So I think both Yoga 2 and Tier 3 are going to be very powerful, like always. I don't know which one of these is going to be the strongest, and realistically, any one of these two can also go in the OP tier. I personally just don't play dot builds, so I don't have the knowledge to tell you, like, to just say with confidence Tier 3 is like S tier, for example. I just don't have the confidence because I don't play with dot builds, but at the bare minimum, they're gonna be like in the extremely strong tier. At the bare minimum. So Tier 1 got changed this league. Kind of forgot about the rework. Just completely fucking forgot about it. But the new numbers on her is absolutely insane, and she's gonna be a very powerful starter now. And she also even got a visual update. My wife is OP tier, fix that. Okay, sorry. Tier 1 looks absolutely bonkers. She looks absolutely bonkers. I don't know that I haven't 100% done the math on the numbers on anything on there. People have given me like just fucking quick ballpark math and things. But this is one of those cases where it's again similar to like Yoga 1 and Tier 3, where it's like I would need to do the numbers. I would need to maybe do a test run of them and just like, you know, feel things out. But at the very minimum, it's going to be an extremely strong tier. Potentially it's going to be in the OP tier with, you know, with the characters we already see in the OP tier. Tier 2, let me just double check quickly. I do not believe that she got reworked. She just got some buffs and stuff. Wait, no, she did receive some reworks. Pretty sure she's still weak early though, unless people are just gonna say otherwise. This is too much to read. Unbooking her. Okay, that's the video. This was fun to make. I think Erica too. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. Every character on this tier list is irrelevant except Erica too. Erica too is so fucking back, baby. She's so fucking back. Tangle's got buffed. She's so fucking back. She's so fucking back. What do you play, Rayan? Yeah, you play Life Sacco. Theon's better than Joma too? I mean, having like, I don't know. You betting into E2? I hope so. You know what? I think we need an E2 tier. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, that's gonna be the video. This was just a fun rambling thought video. This is like way less structured than my other videos. I just wanted to ramble a bit and talk about my thoughts. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.